Hello everyone, so welcome to another All About You video blog. But don't worry, you're not watching a different video blog. Today we're here invading the sets of Love Talk because you've heard people speak about them. Our previous guests speak about our Love Talk presenters Helena and James Marques. So today we're here to speak to them about love. Hello.
Hi.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having us.
Pleasure.
The other way around. Kevin and I are feeling so comfortable. We don't want to give up the set. We want to take over.
Very posh, isn't it?
Yes, yes. And
thank you.
Today we're bringing a different angle. We've been speaking about different angles throughout the weeks of February. And one of the angles that we would like to approach with you today is parents and children who are dating. Right? Because I remember my mother, she was too scared to speak to me about love, and I think that's the common culture. Parents do not want to speak to their children about love. They're scared to approach that subject, but at the same time, I believe the best people to guide their children and to prepare their children for this most important decision is parents. So, how early should these conversations begin?
Well, look, I think they have to start early, but then again, for example, there's different levels to this conversation. I mean, when you have someone who's, a child who's 12 years old, at some point she's going to start hearing friends talking about relationships and so on. And it's important to say, look, there will come a time when this is very important for you, but right now focus on your studies and so on. So you're talking about it, but you're not saying, oh, this is how you should date. So I think there's different levels of how you talk about relationships, but definitely, I think when you don't want to talk about something, or when you say to someone, we're not going to talk about this, it's forbidden to talk about this, that's when they want to talk about it more. So if you talk about it on the right level at the right time, I think that's a right way to do it.
And also, just to add to what he said, I think it should start with having the parents, or especially if it's a girl, having a good relationship with the mom, because it all starts very early. It's your communication, how you communicate with her and vice versa. They say, I have a boyfriend, so that already shows that the person feels, the child feels comfortable. And I think this is key to the future when they face real problems.
I think this is a very good point, Mott, because, as you grow up, usually, if they don't have this close relationship with the parents, the tendency to look for the wrong information with friends, outside. And I think this will also lead them to make wrong decisions, to decide wrong later on, isn't it? So I believe that is very important for you who maybe have a teenager at home, and sometimes you think, I don't need to worry about. If she needs anything, she's just gonna come to me and ask. But I remember with me, I was close to my mom, but as James said, she would never really speak to me about details, little things, so I could understand, no, I can go to her and ask for certain questions. So I would just keep to myself. But then, as we said before, usually you go to friends and you start finding out, how do you do this? Is it right? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it not? So I think it's very important.
So you're always going to find people who are willing to listen, right? And I think if they're already asking the question, then that's a clue that it's time, because they are thinking about that, they are processing that information. So the best thing is to get involved while it's still that early and they're still thinking about it, instead of getting involved when they've made up their mind, when they've gotten that information somewhere else, right?
I think parents, if you don't mind me saying, Marty, parents need to change. It's like technology. We are always upgrading, always changing. And I think parents need to let go of the old ways of thinking that, oh no, back in my day, my mom sat me down when I was 21. You've got to start changing the way you think and see that the need is different these days. It has to start early.
And one of the questions now is, once that teenager, because I think this question will only be relevant to children, to those who are dating and they're still young. Once they start dating, how involved does the parent get in that relationship?
And I think you have to get involved. So, your 17-year-old boy or girl says, listen, I'm dating this boy. So the worst thing you can do is say, oh, you're grounded, you're never going to get out of the house. Is it the right time to date? probably not, right? Probably the person is too young, is not mature enough, but maybe the right way to go about this is wanting to know who that boy or who that girl is, wanting to know who their family is. And in that way, you can protect your child and be involved in what's happening. As we said earlier, often the one thing you say to your children, don't go there, don't do it, that's the one thing they do. So getting involved and getting involved with who the person is, who the family is, I think that's probably an intelligent way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, opening up to that person, asking them, inviting them to come to your home. So for example, okay, so this guy that you are thinking of dating, can I meet this guy? Can you bring him over? I think when parents get very nervous about something, normally the reaction is to kind of completely shut it down. But at the same time, when you shut something down, you are shutting someone else's thoughts, someone else's feelings, things that they're going through at that time. You're shutting them down, and your children are people. So just like you don't like to be shut down, they don't like to be shut down. So think about, you know, your children in terms of individuals, which is harder for parents. I understand that. I don't have a child, but I've been a daughter, and I do have other children that I've adopted as my children that I mentor. And so I know that we want to be careful, but being careful does not always mean shutting down the conversation. It means continuing the conversation and exploring that conversation, right? We have a lot to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, because they said a key word, we want to know more about it, about intelligent, right?
Yes.
Intelligent love. We have some questions to ask them about this, but this is going to be after the break.
Yes, we're going to go for a break, and after the break, this conversation continues.
Hi everyone, I'm James.
And I am Helena,
Join us here every Saturday at 3 p.m. for Love Talk
the show that teaches you how to love intelligently.
on my channel Sky 203.
See you there.
Love Talk on my channel Sky 203 every Saturday 3 p.m.
Hello everyone, so we're back with our conversation with James and Helena Marques. And before we went to break, we were talking about parents and children who, parents who have children who are starting relationships and maybe have questions, and also those who maybe their children are not in a relationship, but they would like to approach this conversation with their kids. So now, we know that James and Helena are the professors of love.
Thank you for the kind words.
I've dubbed you the experts of love. And so we want to know if we have parents who are watching and maybe they're looking at their situation at home and they're thinking, well, you know, I'm kind of going through this with my daughter, with my son, and I really want to learn how to approach these conversations, because up until now I've been shutting it down. But how do I approach it? Are you guys willing?
I think that one of the key things when you are having a conversation about this with your child is not to sound shocked. They will bring things up that maybe back in the day you never heard of those things, or
You know,
people wouldn't talk about those
they
things.
require the update that you mentioned,
Exactly.
right?
So it's good that you act normal, even though you are shocked to the core, like, oh my God, what is that? But you act normally, and you are like, you try to show the logic of things. Don't just tell them not to do something.
And just to answer your question, yes, we are available.
Very available.
So how can they get in touch with you? How
Well,
do they reach
we
you?
hold our seminars every Saturday at 7 p.m. in Finsbury Park at the Rainbow Theatre.
We've had people who came to the show and they spoke very well of these seminars.
You can get in touch via our email address, questions@lovetalkshow.tv. And we're there. Actually, we're not just there on Saturdays. We're there virtually 7 days a week. So they can email us and book an appointment. We'll be there and happy to see them.
Absolutely.
And Raquel, we were saying we are impressed with our motto. Why don't you share that motto with everyone? You were dying to share
Well, I
it.
think it's really, if you go there in the screen, you're going to see Love Talk, learn to love intelligently. And this is something I think is a key word, because usually we learn outside at least that love comes together with emotion. And then you come already following that song, you know, follow your heart. And then when you start getting to know someone, this is what you're gonna use. You're gonna use your emotions. So you see someone, you meet someone for the first time and you think, oh, this is the love of my life. And that's when many mistakes start happening. So as we are talking here, not only with teens, but all the ages, which advice could you give to them? Because sometimes we hear this word, but it's hard when you just meet someone or you are liking someone. How should they learn how to love intelligently in a relationship?
Let me just first of all explain what your motto means to people. What is it to love intelligently?
Let's make something very clear. Love is intelligent. There is no such thing as unintelligent love. Love is intelligent.
And it makes sense.
Yes, and something we were talking about actually this Saturday's Love Talk seminar is that passion is not intelligent. Why? Because if you think about it, for example, if you hear or you see about a passionate kiss. Let's talk about the Spider-Man movie where the woman kisses the Spider-Man, you know, with his head down
scene,
and the rain coming down. If you look at that scene intelligently, the guy would drown in the water coming up his nostrils, right?
Yes.
But what happens when you
It's
kiss?
not even practical.
When you kiss someone passionately, if that person is not good for you, if the guy's a drug dealer, if the guy's a cheater, but you're kissing him passionately, your brain freezes. You don't think. All you think about is this passionate kiss. And we're telling people, listen, when you love someone and when you want to build a relationship, you need to do that based on intelligent decisions. You can't make it based on passionate decisions or emotional decisions because you're going to get hurt. So love makes you stop, makes you think, is this good for me? You ask questions, and once you can answer those questions positively, then you can build a relationship based on love. If you can't, if you're going to build something on passion, it will not last. You're going to get hurt and you're going to struggle. So that's the motto behind Love Talk, is teaching people how to love intelligently.
Okay, and now thinking about this intelligent love, one of the things that I think should also be intelligent are the choices that you make, intelligent choices before you even, you know, bring that person. So how does intelligence feature in making a choice? How do you know that I am making an intelligent choice by choosing this person to be in my life?
Well, you have to do your assessment. Even that has a name. You need to. You don't just jump into bed with the person like you see in the movies. Okay, you need to talk to the person, become friends, and of course, in your mind, oh, I like that person. You know, that would be a very nice person to date.
So give us key questions to ask for this assessment. What does the person ask themselves when they're making this assessment?
First of all, become friends. See what how the person treats other women. See how the person talks about their family, especially the mother or the sisters. See how he treats himself. See how he speaks. See his principles. I mean, the list is really, really long. I mean, you need to look at these things.
You need to basically look at that person with a magnifying glass. Find out everything you can about them before you get emotionally involved. Because if you get emotionally involved first, and then later you find out the person is not good for you, you just put the carts ahead of the horses. You messed up, right? So find out first, and then you get involved.
So I think they should also get to know their plans for the future,
everything,
and also their past as well, because I think that
get to know their family, get to know, for example, something key, right? Let's say you get emotionally involved with someone, and then you start a relationship, you're about to get married, and then you discuss whether you want to have children or not. You should have had that conversation earlier on, right? You're going to have serious problems. So get to know everything you can. When you're certain that you match, you have the same interests, the same goals, the same plans, then you can move forward.
Yeah. Don't give your heart away like this.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sitting with us and enlightening us.
There's a lot more, but you're welcome to come to the seminars.
Yeah, exactly. We want more, we want more. So today we are ending this series, and it's been a very informative series, been something that we're all passionate about, love, but today we're bringing love from a different angle, right? Love intelligently. And you know, as a conclusion to this series, one of the most important relationships that you will ever be in, and that's the most ignored, is your relationship with yourself. So I think that's a basic relationship. That's the first relationship that you have to learn to apply this intelligent love in, right? So have a complete, fulfilling relationship with yourself, because that's going to set the base to other relationships that come. So if you learn to love yourself intelligently, meaning that you don't make emotional decisions to how you assess yourself, to how you see yourself, and you don't need someone else to come into your life to complete you, but that you complete yourself. And you just
try to find happiness on the other person as well.
Exactly. So not to put the burden of making you happy on someone, not to put the burden of completing you on someone. When you come into a relationship, you should come into that relationship already happy, already fulfilled, so that you may be able to add to other people. That's our major conclusion to this series. I don't want to end it. I don't want to end it. It's been good. It's been it's been a wonderful conversation, but unfortunately it has to come to an end.
Yeah, and they learn a lot this month, but they can continue learning as well, coming to the seminars anyway.
Yes, and next month we bring you yet another series, so stay tuned, because we're bringing a surprise for you. That's it.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.